Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Damien L, and I'm back with another video. And this video is a follow-up of the video I was talking about being over 40 and not having kids. And then I was just now realizing, that there was deep-rooted issues and deep-rooted things. There was deep-rooted reasons why I don't have kids at my age. And well, this is gonna be a little story, not too long, but I was born in St. Catherine, Jamaica, and when I was younger, I have vague memories. Like I have memories of being in Jamaica, and I remember going to school. This is when I was about 3 years old, 4 years old, and I remember the hurricane. It was Hurricane Gilbert, and this was the late '80s, like '88, and I remember, taking pictures. I remember taking a picture and stuff, and it turned out to be a passport picture, and I remember taking that picture, and I remember the family around me and everything, and yeah. So next thing you know, I found myself in Brooklyn, New York. So at this point, I was 4.5, going on 5. This is 1989. So I was in Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York, and I saw snow for the first time, and everything. Started going to school, and I could just remember being told I was adopted. So me being young, I was like, oh, okay. And the family I grew up with, they used to tell me, they used to like, I just remember the parents, and they used to ask me, "Who's your mom?" And I didn't know what kind of question that was at the time, because I didn't know anything. I'm young, I'm just a baby, and I was like, I don't know. I didn't know how to respond. So, you know, then she kind of laughed and said, "No, I'm your mother." But then I also have grew up a little bit later, getting a little older, and them saying, "Yeah, we took you in because your mom couldn't take care of you, and you know, I'm your dad, and I'm your mom." Both parents said that, and it was like it is what it is. And I just remember growing up having a feeling inside of like, and I wouldn't want to do this to my child. You know, if I have kids or whatever, and it went into adulthood, and I always had that feeling, and I used to always wonder like, where's my mom? Where's my biological dad? My biological mom, and those thoughts like kind of came. They came and went as I grew up, and I just like I kind of wanted kids, but then I was like also thinking like, the way I feel on the inside, I can't even explain how I feel, and I'm thinking that, yeah, if I don't have kids, then that would be good, because what was happening around me was everybody. I mean, it was good for them, but everybody else that was around me that I grew up with had like half parents, like, they their mom was in Jamaica still, but then their father was here and he remarried and had more kids or whatever. So, but that was the Caribbean type of demographics. Like it happened a lot, from all the Caribbean countries, and some people end up being here, and some people was like kind of like left behind or whatever. But yeah, that was the growing up phase, and one of the big reasons why I didn't have any kids. Of course there was other times when I could have had kids. Of course, maybe it might have been like you know, I don't want to say the word, but a kid was supposed to come and something happened, you know, and yeah, it's interesting, man. But I would say, yeah, that was a big reason, and this is kind of like part one, because I'm gonna go into a big story on everything with my biological parents and everything. But as at that time, up to when I was 27, I didn't really know my family, my biological parents or whatever. And there was a lady that I believe she was living in New Jersey, but she would come to visit us when we was in New York City, and she would say things like, "Oh, yeah, I knew your mom and everything," and she would tell me the reasons why, and she was saying that she passed away, and so I was growing up with the thought that my mom passed away, my biological mom passed away, and that was the thing in my mind. And then I was also told my father was he was a Rasta dread, and that was the thing. But it's crazy how I got dreads now, but these dreads came like 3 years ago. Yeah, I started growing them, and yeah, man. But stay tuned for the next parts. I'm gonna take my time with them, but it's interesting stories. We all have stories and things to share with everybody, and I think they should be shared. For sure. And I'm glad we have this place on YouTube for a community of like-minded people and people that go through the same things, and we can share stories and relate with one another.